This is Bharat's verdict on Canada. The question that we are now putting out throughout the course of the day and this broadcast on Friday, we will get you all the responses. There are multiple questions to this questionnaire. The first question, how do you regard Canada as a country now towards Bharat in its attitude? 33% believe it's friendly. 33% believe it's unfriendly. And neither friendly nor unfriendly, not able to decide what Canada's attitude, outlook towards Bharat is currently, is 34%. Now, this is a huge shift from in the past where these numbers were highly leaning towards the friendly number in the high 50s or 60s with respect to the perception of Canada. But the recent developments, the utterances and the conduct of the Canadian Prime Minister and his government have now decided that only 1/3 of the respondents believe that Canada is a friendly nation. Nearly 66%, nearly 67% are in the not very sure or believe it is unfriendly zone, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and go across. Let's try and go across to our reporters and get a conversation going with them. Siddhant Mishra tracks the MEA very closely, will be joining us in a bit. Aman Sharma, our political editor, also with us. Aman, now the sentiment mirrors even at the first response, the sentiment mirrors what would be the common feeling amongst a citizen just off the cuff. Plus, this survey, did it also dive into whether or not the common janta, the people of Bharat, agree with the position that's been taken by the ambassador, that is Sanjay Verma, and also Bharat as a government?
Well, absolutely, Anand. See, the series of events since last year when Justin Trudeau, inexplicably came out in the open and, made these allegations public without a shred of evidence. He himself has said that the evidence we had is not concrete evidence. And that is, I think, that something in our survey, people who have been spoken to and people who have filled up the survey maybe have this feeling, and we say 33% consider Canada as an unfriendly country. This is also because the kind of allegations being leveled without any proof. This shows maybe a personal agenda. Maybe Mr. Trudeau on his home soil, as we all know, is facing challenges. His popularity is down. 2 days ago, there's been a meeting of the Liberal MPs where nearly 24 MPs have put out a letter asking Mr. Trudeau to step down from his post because they feel he can't lead the Liberal Party to win the Canadian elections next year. He's dependent on another party which is full of, pro-Khalistani elements for the continuance of his government. That party is currently giving him outside support. So obviously all these factors combined, if you see, India's 1/3 of our respondents are saying that Canada is an unfriendly country. I think that is something that is very, very stark in this particular survey.
Yeah, and it's a popular destination nation or a place for migration, emigration, etc. And look at the change. And Canada was never even there in the sphere. It was always seen as a good country to live, good place to live, and a friendly nation to live. Not so long ago. Aman, just stay on with us. We've got Professor Brahma Chalani, strategic affairs expert, and Adit Kotari, founding member of Indic Society, with us. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Professor Brahma Chalani, are you surprised or do you believe this is perhaps just reflecting the mood of the nation? This first question, where nearly 1/3 of the respondents believe Canada still remains a friendly nation, but nearly 2/3 of the respondents are oscillating between unfriendly or not sure, neither friendly nor unfriendly.
This should come as a wake-up call for the Trudeau government, because for decades, Canada and India have had a very friendly relationship. They've had no strategic divergences, and therefore, given what your survey shows, and given the negative attitude towards Canada now, the vast majority of Indians that your organization has surveyed have now a negative attitude towards Canada. And that really attests to the manner in which the Trudeau government has systematically undermined Canada's traditionally friendly relations with India. And we shouldn't be surprised by this negative attitude that is growing in India towards Canada, because look at what has happened over the last just couple of years, that Canada-based Khalistani extremists have offered cash rewards for providing home addresses of Canada-based Indian diplomats who have been labeled killers. They have held referenda in Canada on the secession of India's Punjab state. They have erected billboards, public billboards, advocating the killing of Indian diplomats who have been identified with photos. They have threatened attacks on the Indian Parliament and the New Delhi airport. They have staged parade floats, not one, not twice, but at least 3 times since last year in British Columbia, as well as in Brampton, Ontario, which is a suburb, a town near Toronto. Parade floats on which the 1984 assassination of Indira Gandhi was reenacted.
Yes.
And they have mounted attacks on Indian diplomatic missions in Canada. All that has been happening under the tolerant watch of the Trudeau government. Now, how can any civilized country in the world tolerate and, in fact, condone such terrorist activities? And I think, given what has happened, we shouldn't be surprised by what your survey shows.